Well, in poll after poll, it is clear that the American people are fed up with Washington. Voter dissatisfaction is through the roof. And the most popular political candidates are currently people who have zero experience inside the Beltway. So what is it that is making Americans so angry? Earlier, I posed that question to one of my idols, a man with his finger on the pulse of the American psyche, Dr. Phil McGraw, a psychologist and nationally syndicated host of Dr. Phil, the #1 syndicated program. And our discussion of angry American voters was just the beginning. Great to see you, sir.
Good to see you.
What do you think is behind that, the anger and the extent to which the public is fed up with Washington?
Well, I think that's it. I think they're fed up with it. If you were to go back and look at all the campaign promises, all of the things on either side that people talk about, they're doing all the change that's going to come about, and it doesn't happen. They are sick to death of it. And so they say, look, stop a car. Go out on the highway and stop a car and put that sumbitch in charge. You would have a better shot than somebody that you go through. And I mean, you know, it's like Miss America was on last night. They got 50 choices. We get 2? I mean, come on. They're saying, just go pick somebody.
Right.
And let's get somebody that doesn't have a bunch of IOUs when they take the job.
Yeah, right.
Because everybody sells their soul to get the job.
Do you think that's what's behind Trump's success so far in the polls? That he keeps saying, I'm a very rich man and I'm not going to be beholden to anybody.
Well, I think right now it's appealing to the frustration. It's appealing to the anger, and a lot of things being said that, you know, some people want to vent about. Not all people, but some people want to vent about. But, you know, there's a lot of adjectives and not many verbs. There's a lot of adjectives: fabulous, greatest, best. But listen for the verbs. What are we going to do? Mm-hmm. What's a policy? What are you going to do? Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm listening for, is some verbs.
You know, obviously Donald Trump and his non-inside the Beltway messaging, you know, the way he talks, has appealed to a lot of people. Other people have described him as a bully. He's been asked about that repeatedly. What is your advice, Trump or not Trump? What is your advice for those out there who feel bullied? How do you deal with a bully?
Well, you've got to take their power away, right? I mean, when you poke somebody with a stick and they jump, then the bully likes to poke with the stick. When they stop jumping, they stop poking. Mm-hmm. And they're looking for a reaction. And I think the worst thing you can do is take the bait, and the best thing you can do is flip it on them.
All right, let's talk about a well-known athlete by the name of Susie Favor Hamilton, who was this star runner. She never won the Olympics, but she won all sorts of other competitions. And unbeknownst to the world, she became a married mother and call girl all at the same time, and incredibly with her husband's knowledge and approval. She's going on the Dr. Phil show on Tuesday, and she tells her entire story to him. Let's set it up with a clip because, of course, as he always does, he asked the most relevant question, which was, how? Watch.
The biggest question on everybody's mind as they watch this interview, as they read the book, is how could a mother, a wife, a world-class athlete, an Olympian, end up advertising herself as a high-class call girl on the internet, hooking up with men in Vegas, LA, Chicago? How did that happen?
Started on it's our 20th wedding anniversary, and we wanted to do something fun, crazy. So we decided to jump out of an airplane in Vegas, and then we decided, probably more me, that we wanted to make this fantasy that people talk about come true. And so we arranged a threesome. We had the threesome. Afterwards, I was amazed how fantastic this experience was. And I kept telling Mark, oh my God, don't you feel different? So I had like this life-changing moment after that threesome.
How does having a threesome get on your bucket list? Why that instead of going on an African safari, exploring caves?
I've always been a very sexual person. So my husband and I, we've always explored different things. We're a part of the Mile High Club. I mean, that was always who I was. We just thought, let's spice it up. And you know what? Believe it or not, a lot of people have threesomes. When I got into escorting, I saw that.
You knew at that moment this wasn't a one-time deal for you.
Right, I knew I was going to come back to Vegas and have some more fun.
Good times.
Well, there's more to this story. Understand, she's a mother living in Wisconsin, 2 kids. She's given promotional speeches for Disney.
Wow.
You know, I mean, Disney. And she's doing this a lot. And so mother, wife, suburbs, you know, she's living the dream, right? And so she decides she's going to go off and do this. Her husband says, okay.
What does that say about him? I don't know who's.
Well, he's part of the show.
Behavior is more bizarre.
Well, I asked him about that. I said, forget Dr. Phil, just husband to husband. You got to tell me, under what theory does this make sense?
And it started off as a threesome, but pretty soon it was a twosome. Susie Favor Hamilton and some other unknown dude. The husband was cut out of it altogether, and the guys were paying her.
And he was driving her sometimes to these appointments.
Unbelievable.